Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I've done in the past, probably not every week or had as much of a rhythm to it. In college, we did something, yeah, in the locker room as well. And so in high school, obviously, did a lot. So it's not foreign to me. I'll put it that way.
Does it come off the top of your head, or you think about it knowing that the guys are expecting something?
I would say a little bit of both. I mean, I don't have a cue card, so at the end of the day, it's got to come off your head. But certainly you want to gather your thoughts beforehand as well and not just walk in there with nothing to say.
What was the kind of a pitch that the Vikings made to you that kind of gave them the edge over the Jets?
There wasn't much of a pitch. I just think, when we came here on the visit, we were just very impressed with the way Coach Zimmer operates, with this facility, with ownership, with Coach Flip as the OC, the system, the roster, teammates. I think there was just a lot of positives.
You mentioned in your speech suffocating rookie quarterbacks. Is that something that, when you were a first-time quarterback, is that something you felt, that from experience that you knew that could be done?
Well, it can certainly be done. It's not something you feel every week, but it can happen. And I go back to not just that. I go back to my freshman year in college. I go back to my early years in high school when you play up a level. Just, anytime you're new to something, there's experience to be gained. And as an opponent, you want to take advantage of that any way possible.
What do you have to do differently when you're playing on the road? I assume it kind of messes with communication, but other adjustments that are needed for that?
You need all 11 on the field to really know what they're doing and not have questions or have a mental slip, because it is hard to communicate in the noise, and sometimes you can be against the play clock a little more, and so you got to trust that the guys around you are going to be on their details. And then you do have to communicate within the noise well in terms of where the protection is going, what the personnel grouping is, the formation, any shifts or motions. And then, it helps when our coaching staff can identify things and get the play in quickly from the sideline and substitute quickly. And then ultimately it comes down to the same things that you got to do at home. I think if you win or lose, home or away, you can point really to the same factors in every game causing, the result to be what it is.
What have you seen then strides from Brian?
Well, I just think he's coming along as a player. I guess in OTAs you noticed, he was still learning it mentally. He's getting used to the play strength of NFL players and pass rushers, and I just think that the longer he's been out there and the more reps he's been able to get, I think he's just been able to work on his technique and fine-tune it to where he can hold up. And I also think that there's a confidence that comes with having been out there before, like we talked about with quarterbacks. Gaining experience helps, and I think the same is true of all positions, and certainly tackles are included in that.
Hey, Kirk, you follow the Redskins all year. You're curious. Have you been there as long as you were?
I try to follow the whole league, so I try to see, especially the NFC, because those are the teams that we're fighting for a playoff spot with. So I really try to follow the whole league, and I'm a guy who, when I can, coming home from our games, I try to watch games and just see what's going on around the league, keep a pulse going, and get a feel for where teams are, because they're either going to be somebody we're playing. If they're not, we could be playing them in the playoffs. And I also want to learn from the other quarterbacks, the other offenses, and what they're doing well.
You talk to anybody back there still?
Yeah, I text with people from time to time, and a guy like Spencer Long, who's the center for the Jets, was a teammate of mine in Washington, a great person and a great player, and I text with him too. So I think around the league, we all keep in touch with guys that we've played with or played against and gotten to know in the off season, whatever it may be. I think we do, keep in touch quite a bit. Whose team? The Redskins? Yeah, I think they had a big win against Carolina this past week, and it's week to week so much so, and we all, like I say, try not to ride the roller coaster. So if you have a tough loss, just try to bounce back and not get down in the dumps. And if you have a big win, just try to stay the course and not get too high, and just keep trying to stack wins on top of one another and see where you are at the end of the year.
Kirk, I know we're probably running out of superlatives on Adam Thielen, but he's one shy of having a seventh straight 100-yard receiving game, which would tie an NFL record. Just kind of your thoughts on that potential record and just this consistency that he's displayed.
I think you said it. I think consistency is a big part of being a great player in this league, not just doing it once or twice or for one season, but being able to do it for a whole season and then stacking seasons together, I think that's when you start to realize you got a special player. So that consistency is special, and we've got to continue to give him opportunities to where he can show us the player that he is.
There's a statistic about just you being able to find Adam so many times when you're under pressure. I know that you just go where your reads go, but is that unique from receivers you had before, being able to find him when you're under pressure so often?
No, I don't think so. I just think that's the nature of how our formationing plays and how our reads are going and what coverages teams are playing, and then just going through my progressions. And that's about all it is.
Hey, Kirk, I know you sat down with some of the rookie quarterbacks in the spring of
Mm-hmm.
the draft. Did you get to talk to Sam at all?
I didn't.
What were your impressions of him if you got to watch him play at all?
You know, anytime you can go out there as a rookie and win games, I think it says a lot about you as a player. So he's done a great job, and you know, a lot's been made about how young he is, and I think that also is you factor that in too, and you feel like it's a really impressive start for him in this league, and I'm sure he's got a lot of great days ahead of him, and you know, hopefully our defense can contain him well this weekend, and that would give us a great chance to be able to come out of there with a win. But he'll be a handful, I'm sure.